Hi, music fans, and today marks another guitar legend's birthday. Bruce Welch of the Shadows is 79 years old today. And yeah, I celebrated Hank Marvin's birthday there last week, so I thought it'd be only fitting just to make a short video just to wish Bruce Welch a happy 79th birthday. And what I've done today is because Bruce Welch is just an absolutely fantastic songwriter as well as a musician. I've compiled a top 10 of my favourite songs, tracks written by Bruce Welch himself. So, without further ado, I'll go into my top 10. At number 10, I have a song called Song of Yesterday, which was a B side to the only single that Bruce Welch ever released solo. And the single was called Please Mr. Please. But on the B side, there was a song called Song of Yesterday, which is an absolutely beautiful track. Bruce sings it absolutely fantastic. And I know that Cliff done a version of this song as well, and equally as good. But yeah, just a beautiful song written by Bruce Welch, Song of Yesterday. So number 9, I have a Marvin Welch and Farrell song called Faithful, which is just an absolutely beautiful. It's one of the best they recorded. Just after the Shadows, um, Hank went solo for a little while. Then he got with John Farrell for a little while, and then he got back with Bruce Welch and John Farrar for Marvin Welch and Farrar, and they recorded a lot of great songs, and so there had to be at least one in this top 10. So I chose Faithful, which is just a beautiful song. And number 8 is Cliff Richard and the Shadows track, and it's called I Could Easily Fall in Love with You, and it comes from 1964's pantomime Aladdin. Just an absolutely fantastic Cliff and the Shadows track. And number 7 is that one single that um, Bruce released. I think it was 1974. I could be wrong. You can leave in the comments below if you know what year that was released. It's a very rare single. Please, Mister, Please. And I know that Olivia Newton-John ended up recording the song, and she had a big country number one in the US with Please Mr. Please, which must have been absolutely fantastic for Bruce Welch. And John Rustle, who co-wrote the song with him. So number 6 is another Cliff and the Shadows track, On the Beach, which was written by Bruce Welch, Hank Marvin and Cliff Richard. And yeah, it was featured in the 1964 movie Wonderful Life. It's just an absolutely cracker of a track. Number 5 is a Bruce Welch song which he wrote with Cliff Richard again, and it's called Don't Talk to Him, which is just an absolutely cracker. It's one of my favourite Cliff and the Shadows songs of the 60s. Number 4 is a Cliff solo song which Bruce wrote with Alan Turney back in 1977. Cliff recorded in 1977. I think actually Alan Turney might have recorded it and released it as part of Turney and Spencer, probably a year before that. But it's a cracking song called Hey Mr. Dreammaker, and it's just beautiful. Cliff's version is produced by Bruce Welch. Just an absolutely beautiful song. I think Olivia Newton-John also recorded it as well. So number 3, I have to include something by the Shadows. And yeah, I could have done this whole top 10 with just Shadows tracks written by Bruce and Hank and Brian. But I picked this one, FBI, which was the big number 1 in the early 60s for the lads. And yeah, it was co-written by Bruce Welch, so I was able to include it in this top 10. So FBI is number 3. Number 2 is Bruce Welch's first number 1 as a songwriter, and it was Please Don't Tease in 1960. He wrote it with his school friend Peter Chester, and it was recorded by Cliff and the Shadows, and it went to number 1 in 1960. And I believe that from the royalties of Please Don't Tease, Bruce went down and bought his first car. So that must have been a very memorable track for him. And also, Please Don't Tease was actually knocked off the number 1 spot, as a lot of Cliff and the Shadows fans will know, by Apache. So at number 1, Anybody that follows me on Facebook or on YouTube will know that my absolute favorite Shadows track is written by Bruce Welch and it's called Team for Young Lovers. Absolutely beautiful track. I know that Bruce wrote the song as a kind of western feel, like one of them John Wayne movies. Um, he wanted that kind of feel to it, and he just changed the title to Team for Young Lovers just to kind of because the Shadows were so popular at the time, they just to be a bigger market if it was called Team for Young Lovers. But it probably should be called something like the Western Plain or something like that, because it's just a beautiful Western track. Team for Young Lovers, and I know that Brian Licorice Loughlin, who passed away recently, he used to do the version. He used to do harmonica. He used to play the song on harmonica, and absolutely beautiful. And when you hear that harmonica version of Team for Young Lovers, you realise what Bruce was going for. It's just like straight from a John Wayne movie, Team for Young Lovers. So that's my top 10. Yeah, so I just want to again say happy birthday, Bruce. Everybody knows that I'm a big Cliff Richard and the Shadows fans, and I have to celebrate these days. And for Cliff Richard fans, Bruce has probably some of you know, and some of you may not know. Bruce has written more number ones for Cliff Richard than anybody else. He's written no less than 4 number ones. I Love You, Please Don't Tease, Summer Holiday, Bachelor Boy. I could be actually missing one or two, but they're the ones I can think of on the top of the head. He wrote all them number ones for Cliff. He also arranged Cliff's first number one, Living Doll, because it wasn't written like that. It was written as a fast up-tempo track, which Cliff and the Shadows hated at the time, and it was Bruce's idea to change it into a country song and made it the number one it was. So maybe you should be actually included as a co-writer on that track as well. And he also produced Cliff's biggest selling song of all time, We Don't Talk Anymore, in 1979. So for Cliff Richard fans, Bruce Welch is very, very important, not just as a rhythm guitarist in the Shadows, but as a songwriter, as a producer. Cliff's favourite track of all the songs he ever recorded was Devil Woman, and that was produced by Bruce Welch. Miss You Nice was produced by Bruce Welch. So yeah, he's just contributed to Cliff's career a lot more than people realise. So yeah, and obviously as the Shadows, just an absolutely amazing rhythm guitarist. Just listen to the Savage, like unbelievable. I know I played with musicians before doing some Cliff tracks, and they always do a couple, one or two Shadows tracks as well. And I know when it comes to them doing this Savage, the rhythm guitarist, they never can get it right. It's so fast, it's so furious, and just amazing. And Bruce plays it still to this day, just amazing. So that's my top 10. Bruce Welch. I just want to say once again, happy birthday. I hope many, many to return. I hope one day I can meet you in person. I was lucky that his son Dwayne was able to. You see my Facebook page dedicated to Bruce Welch, and asked me would I like to get an autograph, and I did. And I jumped at the chance, and so Bruce's son Dwayne organised a fantastic autograph from Bruce, which I have framed. And up on the wall in my wall of fame with Cliff's autograph and Hank's photograph, and absolutely fantastic. And so I hope one day I can meet Bruce, but who knows? I still have all the music to enjoy. So happy birthday, Bruce, and many more to come.